The job interview. That sacred space where one side is fighting for survival and the other is testing their latest psychological warfare tactics will hold up in court. Just when I thought interviews couldn't get more dystopian, I come across this absolute gem. We ask questions that expose vulnerabilities. Well, you do you? I presume you're a licensed therapist then? Because if you're planning to crack people open like a Cadbury's cream egg, I assume you know how to put them back together again afterwards, right? Right? Yes, Susan. I hear that you struggle with imposter syndrome and childhood abandonment issues. Fascinating stuff. Now tell me where you see yourself in 5 years. Therapy, Dave. I see myself in therapy. That's not an interview technique. That's how you summon demons. And of course, then the give me one situation where you've acted poorly. You know, the confess your sins portion of the interview. What exactly do you want me to say here? Well, I once pushed an old lady over, but in my defence, it was Black Friday in Primark and she had the last pair of thermal leggings. Every woman for herself. Or, I did technically commit tax fraud, but in my defence, so is your CEO. Look, let's actually be real. If I actually answered honestly, HR would be on standby with a restraining order. But the best part, you know who won't struggle with these questions? Psychopaths. The time I acted poorly. Great question. So one time I strategically eliminated a colleague in a friendly sales competition and then covertly manipulated my boss into giving me their client list. Pretty efficient, right? We called it Operation Good Vibes Only. Worked a charm. And of course, they get hired on the spot, while the rest of us sit there thinking, well, sometimes I forget my attachments on email, and once I had a nightmare over using Comic Sans in a company newsletter. And another absolute gem, how would your friends describe you? A question that immediately rewards the loudest, most dishonest people in the room. Yeah, my mates. Yeah, they all call me a ledge. Proper top bloke, me. Best man at 3 weddings. Broke the world record for down in the pint while backflipping off a jet ski, blindfolded, holding a kebab, quoting Sun Tzu. Landed it. 3 cheers. Had to sign a lad's forehead. The year before, saved a school bus full of nuns from a burning orphanage. Shame I forgot the kids. Yeah. And you'd have no way of knowing if I was lying. Are you hiring me or setting up an episode of Dispatches? You're going to call up my mate Dave for a testimonial, maybe give him a polygraph and a background check while you're at it, just to make sure he's not lying about the time I shared a quavers at lunch in year 8. Yes, let's track down Dave's childhood friend for a full psychometric breakdown of who I was at Cub Camp. Meanwhile, someone who's neurodivergent or disabled or, not a sociopath or just honest really, is completely and utterly fucked. Statistically, over 70% of folks with disabilities say they don't have a close friend. So, what do you exactly want from them? Well, Steve, my imaginary mate from year 4 says I'm excellent at sharing, always pick last, but work the hardest in rounders, and once got a gold star for helping someone open their froob. Does that count? Or worse, someone with an ounce of humility, now here's a thought, is going to sit there and think, friends, yeah, they say I'm alright, and boom, job gone. Faster than someone changing tabs while their manager walks past. I've seen raccoons cover their tracks with more subtlety, because apparently only narcissists deserve employment. And that absolute chestnut, what would your boss think of you when he's drunk down the pub? Mate, what point did this job interview become a drunken office gossip sesh? My boss? Oh, he'd probably say I'm hard-working. A bit weird. Like, the kind of person who brings their own tea bags, avoids all human interaction near boiling water, and once gave a TED talk about why office small talk is psychological warfare. Or, right? Why not? Now here's a radical idea. Just ask directly. On a scale of 1 to we've already called security, how much does your boss hate you? What do these questions reveal? Well, it's not self-awareness, certainly not emotional intelligence, contrary to popular belief. What they reveal is whether someone is desperate enough to survive a corporate hazing ritual for the privilege of a 28k salary, a branded mug and a vague promise of pizza at the end of the quarter. And another radical idea, you know what actually tells you about someone's true character, or even their ability? Funny enough, their work. Especially the work that's relevant to the job that they're applying for. Who the f*** would have thought that, eh? Not their willingness to emotionally strip in front of a committee of semi-bored line managers who spent more time perfecting their team's meeting background blur than preparing for the actual interview. And if you excuse me, I need to go. Prepare for an interview where they'll ask me to describe myself in 3 words. I will try, but it will be hard to resist the urge to say semi-feral overthinker or emotionally unstable genius. Or my favourite, need a job. Oh wait, thank God it's not a job in a bank, eh?